So where exactly are you at in your financial journey? Are you sticking to your budget, or are you struggling, stressed, and overwhelmed with everything financial? The world we live in today, it thrives on independence, and because of it, we can be so easily swayed to try and achieve everything in our own strength. But God, He wants us to be dependent on Him, to allow Him to work through the struggles with us, just as we did when we were little kids, right? We were dependent on our family, on our moms and our dads. And it's so much easier to do something when you have help versus trying to do it on your own. So why are we trying to live life without God, independently, doing everything on our own? That's what the world is telling us we have to do, because the world is not God focused, right? But we are God focused, and it's time to lean into Him. It's time to allow Him to be our parent, right? To work with us through whatever it is we're doing, because that's how life is going to be so-called easier. That is the so-called easy button in today's world, right? But that is why today we're going to be walking through how partnering with God can give you confidence and peace in your budgeting today, not further down the line, but you can start having confidence and peace in your budget today. And then I'm going to give you the steps that it takes so that, again, you can start it today, not years down the road, not months down the road, but today, because that is what we're looking for, right? We want to be able to partner with God and to live in His peace and His comfort, because His comfort is so much better than worldly comfort. So go get your drink, open your heart to God, and let's dive in. If you're ready to build wealth, ensure financial security, stop overspending, and finally create a budget you can stick to, you mama are in the right place. Hi, I'm Molly, a budget coach and financial strategist who went from living paycheck to paycheck to paying off debt, saving money, and going on vacation, all by budgeting. And I help mamas just like you budget and create God-centered systems and routines so that you too can have financial freedom. Now stop pinching those pennies and let's dive in. Are you ready to learn how to budget in a way that you can finally stick to it? Then listen in closely as I walk you through my new budget coaching program. This package, it consists of 4 calls. On calls 1 and 2, we will plan, organize, and systemize your money. On calls 3 and 4, we will review and strategize new money habits and routines and create your own personal spending challenge so that you can practice your new habits and make them second nature. So what does this mean for you exactly? It means that after you work with me, you will have a simple and stress-free way of budgeting. You will have a plan in place to reach those goals that have only been a pipe dream. You will have financial security and financial freedom, but most importantly, you will have peace. Why? Because your money will be organized, giving you a visual of what is actually going on with your money and what you want your money to do. That means that when the time comes, and you know it will, and you want to impulse buy, you will be able to visually see what that impulse buy will affect. This allows you to make solid financial decisions not only when planning, but most importantly, in the moment. There's no guessing, no more relying on memory to know what's going on. You know exactly what is going on. So, if you're ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck and start living in financial peace, then hit pause right now and send me an email to mollypennell@gmail.com with the subject line budget coaching. And let's get this conversation started about how you can move forward into financial peace today. But because this is a new program for a few more weeks. So by the end of September, I will stop doing this. Okay. So listen in closely. I am offering this package half off, which is the lowest rate it will ever be, to the first 3 mamas who book a budget coaching package. To learn more about what this can do for you, or if you have any questions, or even to be the first, if you want to know if you're one of the first to get in, send me an email again to mollybennell@gmail.com with the subject line budget coaching. So that's MOLLY, B as in boy, ENELL @gmail.com. And I look forward to seeing you in my inbox. So right now in my parenting journey, we are walking through anger issues, right? So my daughter, she is a big feeler and she feels all the things very, very strongly. And when it comes to anger, because these feelings are so strong, she ends up doing things that are not healthy, right? Because having anger, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's what we do with that anger that can, affect others. It can hurt others. And she ends up biting, which she has now stopped the biting sometimes and reverted to hitting or kicking or wanting to throw things, which is, in my opinion, a little bit better than the biting, but it still causes physical harm to others and to objects and to things around us, and that's not something that we want to teach, right? And so this is something that I have been working very hard and diligently with my daughter, and I am not perfect, so no, I do not catch every single time something happens, right? But this is something where if I were to let her just do her own thing and try to work through it herself, she, one, wouldn't have the tools to know what to do, to be able to harness that negative energy, that bent up energy that's inside of her, right? In a healthy way. Instead, she would continue doing the things that feel good in the moment because that's just the impulse thing to do. It's the thing that our brain doesn't think about. It's trying to protect us. We feel like we are in a situation that is scary and fearful, and we have to do something to right it right away. And that's what her body goes to, right? And I'm sure she gets that from me because I get the urge to bite people sometimes too. I'm sure you're right there with me if you're like a big feeler like I am, right? But I have learned how to harness that in a better way. And that is what I'm trying to teach my daughter to do. And because I am not making her do it on her own, it is, and I'm going to put this in air quotes, easier per se, because I am giving her the tools she needs. Now, it's not easier because in the moment when your brain kind of just shuts down and you're just working on impulse, it's hard to settle down, think logically, and work through the whole situation of what you should actually do. And that takes time and practice, and it is hard. But she has the tools, she has the support. If she needs and wants help, she knows she can come to me. And this is exactly what today's training is about, but not with me, obviously, not with you're a person, but with God, right? So when we work through something, and we work through it on our own, things are so much more difficult because we haven't been through it yet. We are struggling trying to figure out what the next step is. And when you work with someone like God, who knows everything, who knows the right next step for you, it makes it so-called easier, which again, I'm putting that in air quotes because easier means that you have the steps, right? But it does not mean that it's going to be easy. It's still going to take time to practice, to learn how to do it, to be able to harness everything that you are doing. And it can be so difficult still, even though you have the lessons, to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. And when it comes to budgeting, that means that you may be led from God to me to work with me, get your budget in place, start working through where you're struggling to stick to your budget. But a budget is a living, breathing thing. So it's not something you can just set and run with, right? It's something that you have to work diligently on. You have to stay calm about. And these are all things that are very hard. Setting up the physical budget itself is simple. It's easy. It's not hard to do. Putting the systems in place is pretty simple. But when life comes at you, and unexpected things happen, what do you do about it, right? How do you react to it? When your life changes simply because you are no longer in the season that you're in and you're shifting into something new, your budget will change. It shifts and changes with you and with your life as things go. It doesn't stay the same each and every time. And so because of that, budgeting is not something that's simple and easy. Managing your money is hard work, but learning how to react, we don't want to react, right? We don't want to react when it comes to something that's happening. We want to be in the beginning. Man, what is the word that I'm looking for? We want to be proactive. We want to actually be ready for the things that could come and be willing to shift, be open to change. And that's not something that's easy, right? Change means that you have to learn something new. Change means that something could be hard and take a lot of work to figure out how to be able to flow through the new thing. It's not something that's quick and easy. So when we learn how to rely on God and where true confidence comes from, then it can be so much easier. Being dependent on God, going to Him with our worries, going to Him with our fears, going to Him with our joy, with our excitement, and going to Him when we need the support or when we need the tactical next step is what we need to start doing. Because when we rely on ourselves and our own knowledge, we do not know everything. And we will not be able to do the things that we want to do because we don't know everything. And so we need to learn how to lean on Him, and that is the steps that I'm going to walk you through. But before we do that, I have 3 Bible verses, or I might read a little bit more than just a single verse, but 3 sections in the Bible that I really want to share with you because they are so good. And they are a way for you to be able to see how you can lean on God and how you can get your confidence from Him. So the first one, I know I've talked about it many times before. And yes, you're going to hear me flipping through my Bible because it just makes it so much easier when I have my Bible with me than writing everything down, right? But the first verse or the first phrase or section I want to read to you is Matthew 6:31 through 33. And if you open your Bible, you will see that this section is actually titled, "Do Not Worry." So this is at the end of the section, and there's a lot more content that goes with it. So I do suggest you go read it. But in essence, it says, "Do not worry, saying, 'What shall I eat?' or 'What shall I drink?' or 'What shall I wear?' For the pagans run after all of these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." So God is telling us here to not worry and to first seek God. Like when we seek Him, when we take our fears, our struggles, our worries to Him, He will be there. He will provide for whatever is going on. And when you do this first, you're allowing God in instead of trying to do it on your own. This is how you're able to lean on him, is by going to him. Like, just like a little kid, when we are scared, we would run to our parents, just like your kids do to you, right? When there's a thunderstorm, my girls are in my bed or in my lap because the thunder scares them, which is silly to me, right? But it's a fear of theirs that they just have to work through and figure out how to get through it, and understand that the thunder does not mean that they're gonna get hurt. It just means that there's a storm out there, right? But some people do have fear and anxiety over storms, and so we can't belittle that, right? But we need to be like that. God is not going to belittle us for the fears that we have, for the worries that we have. In his eyes, because he is so much more mature than us, these worries and fears are silly. He knows how to get through it. He knows what we need to do. But because we're children, we are going to still fall off the path. We're going to go our own way and have to be brought back in, just like our children have to be redirected when they start doing something like letting anger take over and start biting and hitting. We've got to redirect that energy into a better, more positive way of handling the situation. And God will do the same thing, but we have to first take it to him for him to be able to do that, right? So this gives you confidence knowing that God will provide for you, even if you don't know how or when. Like, that's the thing about God, is we can't see him. We can't physically talk to him the way you and I can talk, and he's not going to give you every single answer because it could be way too overwhelming for you, right? Just like we don't give our children every single answer when it comes to things because their brains are not developed enough to understand what it is that is going to happen or what it is that they actually need to do. We give them one little thing at a time, and that is the same way that God works, right? So lean into that confidence, knowing that God will provide for you by seeking him first. And he knows the things that you need. He's going to take care of you. And when you have more worries, take it to him. Give him the burden. Let him carry the weight and the struggle and the worry, and allow you to be calm and relaxed, because that's how you get his peace, right? Is by giving him the weight of the world, and he gives you his peace. Oh, it feels so good. Just talking about it makes my shoulders like relax. Okay, so then the next verse, and let me get turned to it, is in Proverbs, and it's Proverbs 3:5-6. And it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." So when you lean on his knowledge and his wisdom, because you took your problem to him and he told you what you needed to do, and you're able to lean on his knowledge and wisdom and allow him to guide you down the right path, you have confidence that you know you're doing the right thing, right? This gives you confidence because you know that God will take you down the right path. He will redirect you. Even if what you're doing is leading you down the wrong path, God will bring you back as long as you let him. You got to create a plan and then give it to him. Like, you're seeking him for the answers, but then you're also submitting your answers, your plan, your ideas, your actions, not just your words or your thoughts, but your actual actions to him so that he can redirect you. This is another thing that it's telling you, that you need to take whatever you're doing to God, just like you would take your problems to your parents, just like your kids bring their problems to you. They want your help, and they lean on your knowledge and wisdom and allow you to guide them, even though it's hard, even though they may not want to do it. They still allow you to do it because they know that it is the right thing. Now, yes, there can be lots of caveats to that, and you can argue with me till you're blue in the face, but you get what I'm trying to say. Things will be easier if you take the action. get motivated and seek God first for his wisdom, and then lean on his knowledge and wisdom and allow him to guide you by submitting. So you're seeking him first, and then you're submitting your plans to him and your actions to him so that you know that you are doing the right thing. That is where your confidence comes from, is by going to him, right? Okay, so then the last verse, and this verse has been very important to me because it's kind of the catalyst of the new direction of this podcast, right? And it's Hebrews 11:1, which says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see." I want to reread that, and I'm going to read that a little slower. Faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So if you want to have confidence in anything that you do, you put your faith in God. You don't put your faith in your own actions because you are not perfect and you will fail yourself eventually. That is inevitable. That is life, right? We are human. We are not perfect. So if you put your faith in God, you will be confident knowing that God will provide, knowing that he will redirect your path when you go astray and bring you back to him. No longer will you worry about financial security. No longer will you question if you can build wealth, stick to your budget, or be able to change your bad financial habits, right? Your heart and mindset, it will grow, it will shift, it will turn into a positive outlook on life. You will be able to help others without worry or fear of it affecting your budget, and do it joyfully because you'll be able to help others and you won't want to keep it all to yourself. You'll want to share the works that God is doing in your life. And when you see a need, you will want to help, right? Faith, it gives you confidence because you are no longer question what God will do for you. You may not know how God will work in your life or the exact things that he will do, but through faith, you know that he will take care of you. Not being able to see, how things will work out can be extremely scary. But knowing that you have someone on your side that does and will lay it out for you piece by piece so that you are not overwhelmed by the whole thing, just as you do for your babies, is where your peace comes from, right? This verse, it gives me so much peace. It gives me confidence that the things that I long for, right? My dreams, my goals, my desires will come true, even though it may not happen in my lifetime, right? It could be just like Abraham and Moses, who God promised these things to them, but it took many lifetimes for them to happen, right? And you should go read about that. It actually, if you go read the whole chapter of Hebrews 11, it talks about all these people who had faith and how they had faith. And it shows you exactly how they were able to, move forward and believe, and the way that God worked in their lives, right? So again, it may not happen in my lifetime, even though I want it to, but I can still be confident that even though I'm blind and cannot see every single step to reaching it, even though it may be hard, even though I do not know how or when these things will happen, I am at peace. As long as I keep working and doing my best, God's goodness will shine through in my life, and the things that I dream of and desire will come true. Now, those dreams and desires, as I shift into leaning on God and seeking Him first and taking Him my plans, may shift and change because that is what's going to happen. God's going to put His desires on your heart. And if the desires that you have are not true and good, even though I'm sure they are, will shift into ones that will actually bring you joy and peace and love and excitement, right? So this verse, it gives me peace knowing that when the hard times come, God will provide. It may be through money, through knowledge, wisdom, physical items, other people, and there's many more endless options that God could choose, right? But my family and I will be taken care of. I won't know how or when, but I know that it will happen because that is faith. Faith is confidence. Faith is being certain and 100% positive that what God says He's going to do for me, He's going to do it. He is not a human who will, fail, because that's what we are. We are not perfect, and so we do not stick to our word every single time. He is much bigger than that. He is much more mature than that, and He will be there for us in every single situation, and that just, it brings my heart so much joy and peace and assurance to know that I am fine no matter what situation life throws at me. We will be okay and we will make it through. It may not be in the way that I think it should happen, but it will happen and it will bring glory to God on the other side. Okay, so how can you take action now, right? The first thing, and I'm sure you've gathered this from everything that I've talked about, but the first thing that you need to do is seek God. Take everything to Him, every worry, every fear, every dream, every desire, take it to Him and allow Him to guide your steps, right? So how do you do this? You take the thing, you pray about it first, you allow God to speak to you, to speak into your dreams and your desires and give you the next right step. Not all of them, He's only going to give you one or two, right? Needed to create your plan. A plan that allows you to reach your goal or to get out of a situation or to find a solution to a problem. Then you're going to create that plan and you're going to tell God, here's my plan. I submit it to you. But here's the thing. You're not just going to give it to Him and leave and expect Him to, tell you what you need to do. You're going to take that plan and you're going to follow it. You're going to follow this plan, you're going to take action, and you're going to say that if there is any step in this plan that doesn't need to happen, that needs to be stopped, I want you to stop me in my tracks and redirect me towards what is right. Take this door, slam it in my face so that I don't go that way, and help me open a window or a new door to the right path, to the right thing that's actually going to get me where I need to go faster, easier, with less stress, right? Because that's what God wants for us. He doesn't want us to have to work through the hard stuff. Now, yes, that is how we learn and we grow, but by going to Him, He's going to direct your path, right? Then you're going to finally lean into your Bible and grow your faith. Grow your trust, your belief, your confidence in God and all that He will do for you, even though you cannot see it. And allow it to bring you joy and peace, even in the hard times. All right, so I hope that this episode has really stretched you and opened your eyes to some of the things that maybe you knew, but it was just something that you'd kind of let go to the wayward side, right? I know that when I dug back into these verses, it really hit me hard again because it's just something that my heart needed in this season that I'm in. It can be so easy to take a lesson from something and then just kind of fall away as life happens. But then when you come back, it's so much more powerful and it works so much better because you've practiced it a little bit, right? So take these steps. Start taking action so that you can get out of the overwhelm and just really receive God's peace, right? You can take this and use it not only in your finances, but anywhere in your life. And I just pray that it blesses you and that it helps you figure out what it is that you need to do to get through whatever problem, whatever dream or desire that you want to achieve, right? So again, before I hop off, I do want to remind you to make sure that you send me an email so that you can book yourself a budget coaching package, because remember, by the end of September, I'm going to stop offering these, but for the first 3 mamas who book a budget coaching package, you are going to get the package half off, right? So email me at mollybennell@gmail.com with the subject line budget coaching, and reach out and let's talk about it. Let's see what steps you need to take action in this so that you can be diligent in your finances and figure out a way that's going to help you stick to them instead of just throwing it to the wayward side and letting your money run you, right? We don't want that. We want you to live in joy, to live in peace. And if your finances are not in alignment with the things that you want to do, then it can be so stressful and so overwhelming. So let's get you out of that. And the first step you need to do is simply just email me and let's talk about it. Hey mama, I pray that today's episode has inspired you and grew you. If so, will you please share it with that friend who is praying for a budget breakthrough, and leave a rating and review so that you can help get the podcast out to other mamas struggling with their budget. Also, get some support for yourself by joining my free Facebook group and becoming an insider, where you get weekly support emails and are the first to find out when something new is on its way. You can find the links in the show notes, and I will see you right back here next Tuesday.